Hi everyone, Lynn Hero here, one half of the Esti Sisters duo, authorized educator and rep for AO Medical. Today we're going to be doing a demonstration of our new vitamin C skin brightening facial. We're going to be incorporating a couple of our new devices. One is the Tonisure needle-free plasma with galvanic, and then also our tried and true TimeMaster Pro using ultrasound, EMS, and LED, along with a couple new products that have come out in the last couple of months. This facial is going to be working with hyperpigmentation from post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation on up through melasma. Great for all Fitzpatrick levels. We're really excited to share this combination of products and modalities with you to get the ultimate results for a skin brightening facial. So we hope you enjoy this facial as much as we do, and we look forward to sharing it with you. Okay, here we go with our vitamin C skin brightening facial. We're going to start with a cleanse. One of my favorite cleansers is the Dr. Esti Moisture Gel Cleanser. This cleanser has 5 ceramides and 5 probiotics. It's going to be great for all skin types, with the exception of maybe an oily acne-prone skin where I use the AC Control Mousse. So we're going to start with our cleanse. I like to just take a little bit, pump it in my hands, create a little bit of a lather. You can use a brush if you'd like. I just prefer to use my hands right away and massage it into the skin. You may want to do a double cleanse if the client is wearing makeup. And for our male clients, we'd like them to shave preferably the day before, just so there's no extra irritation when we go about doing our light exfoliation and using our vitamin C products and our devices. So as you can see, this creates a nice foam. This goes from a gel to a foam. It's very decadent, very soothing, unscented, and very hydrating. Okay, once you've got a good cleanse going, we are gonna then use a warm towel to remove. Sure, we shake it out a little bit so it's not too warm. You can also use sponges if you prefer, or gauze with warm water. I just prefer warm towels. It's also really soothing and a little extra pampering for the client as well. Okay, our next step is going to be using our Tonisure device, and the Tonisure device is our new combination needle-free plasma. This is the needle-free plasma head. It also comes with a galvanic head, which we'll be using later in the facial. The needle-free plasma is really a wonderful treatment because it's going to be used for enhancing product penetration. It's going to be the only device that we really use that does not require or actually needs to go on dry skin. So what it's going to do, and initially this plasma is going to create little microchannels in the skin that's going to allow for better product penetration. It also has an antibacterial component, and it also works really, really well on hyperpigmentation as well. So that makes this an ideal device or modality for this treatment. So we are going to push the on button below. You then will see the light flashing red and blue. Blue is level 1. I'm going to work on level 2, which is a little bit more intense. And then the center button starts the process. So let's get the device started. You then want to make sure your hands are held, your fingers are on each side of the grounding bar on the device. And then you'll see there's a slight angle on the head, and you're going to then be working with the skin, and you're going to hold a little bit taut since there is no slip from product, and we're going to just start gliding. And I like to do about 10 passes per area. And you can work all around the neck. You're just going to avoid the thyroid area, and you're going to avoid the jugular down the side, the carotid artery. So about 10 passes, then you're going to work your way up a little bit, about a ½ inch up. So you might have a little bit of overlap, but that's okay. So we're going to just keep working our way up. I like to start with the neck area first and work my way up to the forehead. I also like to do one side of the face first, and then the device will turn off at about the 5-minute mark, and then you're going to be working the other side of the face to get an even application. There is a slight scent to the device, the needle-free plasma. The plasma has its own scent. It's a gas. And then you will also hear, and the client will hear, a little bit of a buzzing sound. So it sounds a little bit like high frequency, but there is no sparking involved and there is no irritation to the client. But again, they may smell a little bit of that plasma, so you want to let them know as you get closer to the nose area that they may be smelling a little bit of that. The only contraindication for these devices, the electrical devices, the main ones are going to be somebody with a pacemaker, somebody with a defibrillator implanted. This particular device using the plasma component or the plasma head, it's very gentle. So even if you were working over, an area that had fillings or some metal crowns or implants, the client won't have any discomfort. The other nice thing about this particular device and this feature of this modality is that it also does a really good job, we find, at working on breaking up scars. So especially like, post-acne scarring, little hypertrophic scars. So it will also help to even out enlarged pores and the little fine lines and wrinkles. So this makes a great device and treatment for anti-aging as well as for post-acne skincare. So the clients that you'll be dealing with hyperpigmentation are going to be all ages. So if you have somebody that has had, acne breakouts and they have some residual scarring or hyperpigmentation from that, this is going to be a really great facial. If you have somebody that was dealing with sun damage or melasma from hormonal induced hyperpigmentation, this treatment will work as well for those skin conditions. I also like to kind of work my way up the neck just along behind the ear as well. This will also have a little bit of a tightening effect, a little bit of a toning effect to the skin. So again, this is going to be kind of a universal application to work on almost all skin types, and many benefits to combining it with this particular facial treatment. I do like to, again, hold the skin taut just so there is a little bit of ease and moving the device across the skin surface. When you're working in a dark room, the blue light may come across a little bit intense for the client, so you may want to put little goggles on or use little laser patches. One little tip or trick that I like to do is turn my mag light on. Right now, for demonstration purposes, we are working in a lighted area, so the light does not come across really intense for the client. But if I was in a room where it's dark, I would simply turn my mag light on, and then I have created a little bit extra light. And so the blue light from the needle-free plasma does not come across as intense. So that's just a little tip or trick for you guys. And then you don't want to forget the 11 lines here. Okay, at the 5-minute mark, the alarm is going to sound. We're now going to push the middle button again to restart, and we're going to work on the other half of the face. If you were working over or on top of some active, blemishes, you're just going to go really lightly and kind of go very slowly, because the light itself, the plasma, is going to be really antibacterial and really great for those blemishes. You're just not going to drag directly over them so that you don't cause any irritation to the blemishes or any popping of the eruption. So you want to make sure that, again, you can still use it on people if they do have, some blemished areas, but you're mostly dealing with hyperpigmentation, but just go really gently over those spots. Again, the biggest takeaway from this particular application is to make sure that you're using dry skin, hold the skin taut so that you don't have pull, and you're not dragging on the skin, so it's a gentle process. And it's just light. We're just going right on the skin surface very gently, so we're not going to be pushing really, really hard, and it's going to be effective enough. This particular facial can be done in a series. If I'm working with somebody with hyperpigmentation, I love to do a series about 3 weeks apart, so this will be very effective. done in a series if somebody has, you know, more extensive hyperpigmentation, melasma, some deep apnea scarring. And then there are home care products that we'll be recommending at the end as well for the clients to be using in the meantime. Okay. It also tightens the skin as well as firms. If you have an area that has a little extra hyperpigmentation or a little larger, the pores are enlarged a little bit more, you can definitely go over that area a little bit more intensely. Okay, we've completed 10 minutes with our Tonisure with the needle-free plasma portion. I'm going to turn the device off, so you simply hold in the bottom button and then it will turn off. So next we are going to be doing a goat milk peel, and this is one of my favorite peels. It is actually a combination of alpha hydroxy, beta hydroxy, and polyhydroxy. It's a Dr. Esti product. This is the retail kit, that's what that looks like, but it does come in a 150 ml back bar size. And this happens to have 8 different acids. It's got 3 alpha hydroxy, 4 alpha hydroxy, 3 polyhydroxy, and 1 beta hydroxy acid. It's great for all skin types, very, very gentle. And you are going to use this for application. It'll be 1 to 2 minutes. And I'm going to put it in a dish. Actually, the one I usually, when I'm using the full size bottle, I'm using about 6 to 7 pumps. This particular container comes with basically a treatment. So you can either pour it into a container or you can just work from here. I'm gonna work right from here. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the forehead. If the skin is less sensitive, we'll be using it for 2 to 3 minutes. If the skin is less sensitive, 2 to 3 minutes for less sensitive skin, and about 1 minute if the skin is more sensitive. And you just want to avoid, you can go down to the orbital bone here, but you just want to avoid right under the eyes. And on a man, it definitely helps to kind of go with the direction of hair growth in terms of your application. Make sure you get the crow's feet area. Now, because we did the Tonisure device, the needle-free plasma first, this peel will go in a little bit more deeply as well. It'll be more effective because we opened up those little micro channels with the plasma. And the other great thing about the Tonisure needle-free plasma device is that there is no downtime. So typically when you're looking at using a plasma device, we're looking at fibroblast plasma, which uses little needles. And there's a lot of downtime and some risk for hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentation using that modality. So being able to have this needle-free plasma, no downtime device is amazing for us. So we're really thrilled with that coming out in the last several months. So definitely a device that I recommend getting and keeping in your treatment room, as it's very universal. Hi, you can see that the face starts to tighten up a little bit. Our model did say that they experience a little bit of tingling. That is normal. So when you are applying any kind of exfoliation to the client, you definitely want to let them know that there will be a little bit of tingling involved. So that's natural, so they're not alarmed. So if it gets to be where it's really, really irritating, then you would just start the removal process. But again, this is only going to be left on for an average of 2 minutes. So a very short treatment time. So is it calming down a bit, or is it increasing in its level of activity?
A little bit.
Increasing?
A little bit.
Okay. But is it tolerable?
Yeah.
Tolerable?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, so I basically used up the little packet here. And this will be on for 1 more minute. And then we'll be removing it with some 4x4s with water. So I'm not adding extra heat. So if somebody does have more sensitive skin, I would definitely remove with cooler gauze or sponges. And again, with the male's face, you're gonna wanna go with the direction of hair growth, so you're not moving against the hair growth, so it's more comfortable for the client. And it just simply is removed or neutralized with water. If someone has less sensitive skin, you can definitely shake out a warm towel and use that. You also want to remember to take a before photo of your client. and then take an after photo as well at the end. This is the most important thing. You want to look at doing, especially if you're working with lifting treatments, making sure that your client is sitting up or standing up for the before photos and the after photos as well, to see the best amount of results in terms of what's changed during the course of the treatment. So we want to make sure that client can see the improvement in the skin. And you have that for your marketing tool as well. Okay, the next step in the process is to use our brand new Dr. Esti Ion C+. I am so excited for this particular new product. This comes from England. This is a unique formula. So in order to keep vitamin C stable, powder form is one of the best ways to do that, because vitamin C can go rancid very easily. And when vitamin C goes rancid, it converts to actually a free radical, which creates more damage to the skin, so into the cells. So it comes like this in a pack of 30, and it also comes with little toppers for ease of application. So the only thing that you need to apply this particular product is some distilled or purified water, along with the ampule that has the powder vitamin C in here. And again, it's got, in addition to vitamin C, it does have arbutin in it, and it's got magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, ascorbic acid, and sodium ascorbyl phosphate. So it's got a few different goodies in here. They're all really going to target suppressing the melanin and helping to lighten and brighten the skin. And it's great for all skin types. Again, so is the amount in terms of how much to add. So the amount of powder in here is probably, I would say, about 1/2 to 3/4 of a centimeter. And I'm going to just simply take a little bit of distilled water and add about equal parts of that to the powder. So if you want to use, it depends on what mode of application you're going to use in terms of to penetrate the product. You need to use one of two modalities to penetrate the product. You're either going to be using a galvanic or ultrasound device. So for purposes of our demonstration today, I'm going to be using galvanic later in the facial with my mask. So I am going to be using the TimeMaster Pro with this. The TimeMaster Pro is, again, ultrasound, EMS, which is electromuscle stimulation, and LED. LED is also going to be really effective at helping to bring up and to remove some of the hyperpigmentation as well. So again, this is a really intensive focused treatment on lightening and brightening the skin. So I am now finished mixing this serum up. I am going to add my little topper. And I shook it. So I would probably add just a little bit less water just to keep it a little bit less liquidy. But again, when you're working with your TimeMaster Pro, your ultrasound, you do need to use some kind of a conducting agent, whether it's gel or a water type serum. So this is gonna be fine. So now that I've mixed it up, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the serum. And as you can see, it actually is not as watery as one would think. It does seem to stick a little bit on the forehead, which is great. So I'm gonna just go ahead and apply 1/2 of the face first. So with our TimeMaster Pro, it is on for 5 minutes and then turns itself off. And this is gonna be a 10-minute application. So I am going to do 1/2 of the face first. After the device turns off at the 5-minute mark, I will then go and repeat on the other side of the face. So right now I'm just simply rubbing in the ampule. Again, this is the Intense Vitamin C Serum. This will be a treatment product that will be left on, and the client will not be washing their face until the next day. So I can feel some slip, a little bit of slip here, which is great. That's what we want. And then we've got enough, so I'm gonna use a little less than half. So as I need to reapply during the course of the treatment, I can. And then I need the other half for the other side of the face. So we don't want to go ahead and apply a full face because we don't want that to dry out before we get to that side of the face. Okay, just finished applying the serum to one side of the face. Our new TimeMaster Pro device just came out. This is going to have no EMS on level 1. Level 2 is going to have regular EMS. Level 3 will have regular EMS. Level 4 will have a boosted EMS. So what's important about that and what's helpful is that there are some people that are very sensitive to electromuscle stimulation. So by having the ability to have no EMS on level 1, you can still get all the benefits from ultrasound, product penetration, plumping the skin, but you don't have to worry about the extra irritation. So we're gonna turn the device on with our top button here, hold it in. We then have several levels of, or different colors of LED. We've got multiple, which is red, green, blue, and near infrared. You can choose all three colors, flashing, which is the most intense, but just to show you, you can choose simply just red, which is for collagen building, hyperpigmentation, reducing redness. You can choose blue for antibacterial, and you can choose green, which has benefits for hyperpigmentation. However, I prefer to have all of the colors at the same time. The difference between flashing and non-flashing is the flashing will be more intense. So for purposes of our treatment here, we're going to go to level 2 so that we have some EMS. I'm going to just add a little bit more of my mixture here, because as I was talking, just to make sure we have some slip. Okay. The other thing that's really important about the TimeMaster Pro and ultrasound, in addition to always having a liquid or a gel, is that you always want to keep the device moving. So I like to start in some small circular motion initially. If a client does have any implants, teeth implants, if they have a little bit of crowns or they have some fillings, the teeth may feel a little bit more sensitive, so you maybe want to back down a level there or go just a little more quickly. So I keep it moving. So if you notice that his chin is moving, the EMS is pretty strong even on a level 2. It usually doesn't provide discomfort for the client, but it is noticeable and it is totally okay. It's okay to have the muscles moving and be stimulated. So I did a little bit of product penetration by simply moving in a circular motion across the skin. This helps to let the product penetrate and also helps with the LED being effective. Once I've done a pass of the little circular motion up the face, remember we have 5 minutes before the device turns off and we start the other side. I am then going to start with a motion of sculpting, lifting, and toning of the face so that we get a really, really nice anti-aging effect, as well as working on the hyperpigmentation. So it is about product penetration, but it's also going to be a little bit more about sculpting and some anti-aging effect as well. So now I'm going to be doing the little sculpting. You can do about 6 to 7 passes and then you move to another area. I'm going to add just a teeny little bit of water with my hand just to make it a little bit more active here and to give me a little extra slip, which is fine because the vitamin C mixture is broken down or combined with distilled water. So as long as you're adding a little bit more water, it's fine for purposes of working with the modality. I love to sculpt right under the cheekbone to give a nice lift, male or female. You also want to work up the neck area here. So behind the ear. The client will see an immediate change in terms of plumping, a little bit of lifting and tightening again. We already did do some of that work with the Tonisure, but it's going to increase and be enhanced with the TimeMaster Pro. Also, the light, the same issue that you may have with the TimeMaster or with the Tonisure in the dark room. With a bright light like this with the LED, if I'm in a light room like this with daylight, it's not really going to cause much irritation to the client or sensitivity. But if the room was dark, the client may have some sensitivity to the light. So then you want to turn your mag lamp on or maybe put some goggles or little iPads on the client's eyes just to help minimize any discomfort that the client may have from the bright light. Okay, I'm going to start the second side of the face in a second here. I'm going to hold this off while I go ahead and apply the vitamin C to the other side of the face. Okay, again, I'm going to save a little bit. I'm going to turn it on to level 2 just to be even. Turn my flashing lights on. Okay, once we've completed this process, the vitamin C is going to stay on the skin. And again, if you have just a little bit left over, I have just a teeny bit. I'm just gonna finish applying this because again, this is gonna stay on. I love for my clients, no matter when I'm working on them during the day, if I'm really infusing a lot of goodies into the skin, I like that to stay on the client until the next day. So if they have to wash, try to keep it on a minimum of 8 hours. But just for preference, I just say, and just for ease, I just say, hey, if you can wait till tomorrow, that's great. And again, just to have the product on as much as possible. At nighttime is when the skin's turning over. So that's when all those goodies are really gonna be extra beneficial for the client as well. Okay, so the next step in this process, we're leaving on the Dr. Ion Vita C ampule. We are now going to be applying one of my favorite new masks. This is by Aquasure. This is a melatonin mask, and this has a bunch of other great ingredients that's awesome for hyperpigmentation or dealing with hyperpigmentation. We've got the tranexamic acid, niacinamide, adenosine, and then a couple different extracts. We got rhodiola, rosea root extract, and another one that's Leantopodium alpium callus culture extract. So again, these are all about working on suppressing melanin, work on lightening and brightening the skin. So this is gonna be a double whammy. We've already basically done our exfoliation treatment. We've helped to infuse some great vitamin C for lightening and brightening. And now we're gonna be applying this really wonderful, really decadent, soothing, calming, hydrating mask as well. So we're gonna open the mask up. It's this kind of funky orange color, orange yellow color. And let the client know that it's gonna go on. It's gonna be a little cool. Okay, so we're gonna apply this. It's gonna go on a little cool here, Tim. Another little tip or trick is sometimes if someone's face is a little bit larger and it doesn't cover the entire face, but you still wanna get the benefit of the mask everywhere, what I do is I take some of the leftover serum that's in the mask pack and I apply that down the neck, on the rest of the forehead. There's plenty of serum in the mask itself, but you still have usually some left over. So I usually pour a little bit on my palm. There's usually plenty that comes out. And then I will make sure it goes down the neck. Again, any area that's not covered by the mask, you wanna make sure you're bringing down the solution so that all the skin or the areas of hyperpigmentation are covered. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is we are going to be taking our Tonisure device and we are going to be removing the needle-free plasma head and we're gonna be adding the galvanic head. So my hands are a little bit slippery, so I'm gonna be taking a 4x4 here and I'm gonna use our towel. It's just gonna be a little bit sturdier. And you gently remove the needle-free plasma head, set that aside. That can be sanitized with alcohol at a later date, or you can use something like benzyl claydum. You can use a non-alcohol sanitizer as well. Then what you're gonna see is you're gonna see 2 bars on the head where the head's gonna get applied. And the head for the galvanic has a 1 bar on one side and 2 on the other. So that is how you're gonna know how to line it up. You're then going to apply it. Now what galvanic does is galvanic's awesome for a variety of different purposes. New galvanic, first off, does not have to be grounded. This device does not have to be grounded by the client. It's gonna be grounded by us holding our hands on each side of the device. So that's new, that's great. It's safer for the client. I really love how the current is just gonna go from one end of the head to the other. It also is gonna be working not just on product penetration, but it's also gonna be helping with minimizing fine lines, minimizing pore size as well, and helping to stimulate collagen production. So again, we're gonna be, working to really penetrate these really these ingredients that are really great for hyperpigmentation, great for suppressing melanin, and also for, again, minimizing pore sizes, scarring that oftentimes does come along with especially post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation due to acne. We're gonna turn the device on below, and you will have noticed that, again, we have a red and blue light flashing here. So blue is gonna be level 1, red is level 2. And then when I turn the device on in the middle section, you're gonna notice that it now glows red. When it's glowing red means we are using the galvanic head. When it was the needle-free plasma, it was glowing blue. So that's how you know which device you're activating. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to start in the neck area, and I'm gonna be making sure with the galvanic, your fingers are on both ends of the grounding pads. And then we're going to gently and there's going to be a lot of slip and glide because of the product. So we're gently going to work about 10 passes, and then we're going to start at the neck area, and we're going to gently work our way up to the forehead, and we're going to be working on top of the melatonin mask. So again, the main part here that we're focusing on is product penetration, ingredient penetration. Galvanic itself can increase product penetration from anywhere from 2 to 6% up to mid-20s. So it's going to be super effective. Plus, we already worked on increasing the ability to penetrate or absorb product by using our needle-free plasma in the beginning of this treatment. So this particular mask is great. So you're going to have no problem with slip or glide using this mask. It's going to feel very comfortable for the client. There is no heat or discomfort when using Galvanic. And it's maybe a slight little buzzing, but not loud, and there is no additional scent or discomfort for the client at all with this treatment. So again, about 10 passes, and then I kind of move it up. I overlap it up about 1/2 inch. And this mask total will be left on the skin for about 15 minutes or so. If you're in a pinch for time, 10 minutes would work too, especially because we're using the Galvanic, so it is penetrating a lot of the product in. So just to keep that in mind, that the mask itself is really wonderful and can be used without a device. However, anytime you incorporate something like Galvanic, it's going to definitely be increasing product penetration. You can also be using something like microcurrent as well. I just really love the use of Galvanic, and the fact that we're using our Tonisure already with a needle-free plasma, it makes for a logical choice for application at this point. Hyperpigmentation here on the area of the forehead moving up to the scalp that's not covered by the mask. So I am still going to be using my Galvanic on top of the serum there. We are not going to avoid that area. And Galvanic also is something that you keep moving. So you definitely want to keep this moving, and just make sure again that your hands are both fingers, or your hand is on the each grounding pad at all times. Okay, once this is turned off at the 5-minute mark, I'm gonna restart it, push down the bottom button, then I'm gonna activate level 2, which is holding the top button up so you see the red level, and then in the center, again, I'm gonna turn it on. Because it's showing red means we're working with Galvanic, and we're going to continue on the other side of the face. Again, one of the things that I just wanna really stress about these devices and modalities is that first off, Rachel and I have not seen anything really on the market like this, where even after one application, you will see amazing results with the client's skin. So the other great thing is by adding multiple modalities to a facial, you've now really enhanced the result. So simply from just using the Tonisure for tightening and toning with the needle-free plasma device, then simply going into a goat milk peel, you see the softening of the skin, the refining, some dewiness. And then, using the Time Master Pro, where you get the plumping and the lifting. So again, each device is going to be adding extra, enhancements, different kinds of results. It's just going to really maximize the end results your clients are going to get. So these are treatments that Rachel and I really love putting together for you guys, because we're able to see what goes together well enough for a particular treatment, again, to maximize results for your clients. In this particular facial, if you want to take a break and you actually want to do a little separate massage, I would suggest doing it after you've done the goat milk peel and prior to doing the vitamin C leave-on treatment, because you may want to add a little bit of a slip. One of our favorite products that we use is called the DA Jojoba. It's by Duamore. It's a lovely honey gel with a little bit of a light rosemary scent. That would be something that you could use. Or the melasma, there is a really wonderful facial and body gua sha oil that you could use for massage as well. So again, these are just some ideas if you want to add a little bit more pampering in here. So the treatment can go a little bit longer or shorter depending on if you want it to be more of an intensive treatment or if you want to extend it out to a little bit longer of a facial. If you do that, then I would charge a little bit more. And at the end, you also want to educate your clients on the importance of proper home care and an all mineral sunscreen. We have some products that we're going to be sharing at the end of this treatment that we're just so excited about, that really help to enhance and really protect the skin. Not only lightening and brightening, that protect from future sun damage, which is great, future hyperpigmentation. So you can really tell that this is penetrating quite a bit because the mask is drying out a little bit. Normally when I do these sheet masks by themselves and I'm not using galvanic, they're still pretty wet. So I definitely know that the product is being penetrated below. And even though you're not doing a lot of massage on the client per se, unless you decide to add that in, this facial in general, when you're doing a lot of modalities work, is very calming and very relaxing for the client. I love to have a heated bed. I love to have my spa music going and dimmer lights, so it is very relaxing. Okay, turning off your device, you simply push the bottom button in, hold it in, release, and the device is off. You can then spray to sanitize the head. The other head will go into a little container to be held, so you always have one head that's going to be kept in a separate little container, and then you can keep it protected somewhere in your treatment room, perhaps a drawer. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to gently remove the mask. I start with the bottom and I kind of just fold it up. And then I will take the mask a little bit like this and I will just gently kind of rub in a little remaining product. Again, with the male that has a little bit of that hair growth there, you want to go down with the hair growth so that it's not uncomfortable for them. So you're going to be brushing in a downward motion. Next step in this process, as we're nearing the end, is going to be incorporating the Dr. Esti Whitening A Serum. This has a bunch of vitamin complexes in here, the vitamin C, vitamins, B vitamins. It also has some really great whitening and brightening ingredients as well. So this is going to be a home care product as well as one that I use in the treatment room. And again, because the client is not going to be washing until the next day, I'm adding extra goodies. So this is my treatment product. This is really effective as a home care product for lightening and brightening. One of the things I really love about this is it's a 50 ml bottle, so very cost effective for the client. That's very common for a lot of the AO Medical products, and one of the things we really love is that price per ounce or price per milliliter is super cost effective, and I believe it delivers unparalleled results for almost all the products that we've used compared to a lot of the products that are on the market and that Rachel and I have used in the courses of our long careers. So right now I'm going to pump, I would say about 3 pumps here, and I'm going to gently massage it into my fingers, still wearing gloves, and we are then going to apply it all over the face. Make sure you're, again, getting all the areas where hyperpigmentation is. So in this case, we're definitely going up a little bit higher on his scalp, down the neck area. It's very calming, very soothing. You could do a little facial massage actually at this time as well, because there's enough slip on here that it'll feel really good to the client. So if you didn't take the time to do a good 10-minute facial massage, you definitely could just take a little bit of time right now and work it into the client's skin. Okay, to finish up, we're going to be using the HOP Promoter Repair Eye and Lip Cream. I'm just going to add a little bit. This is chock full of our polylactic acid and our growth factors, along with leuphylline that helps with plumping, filling in fine lines and wrinkles. And this can be used on all skin types. So this is a really awesome product. It's one of the few products on the market that actually helps to fill in hollows under the eyes. So really awesome. And then we're going to take a little bit and apply to plump lips as well. It's very lightweight. And then last but not least is one of my favorite products is the brand new HOP All Mineral SPF. This is chock full of the polylactic acid, growth factors, and black fermented royal jelly, along with rose water for a light decadent scent. Now, it may look like it's going to go on a little bit white, but actually, if it does go on white, you've either put in a little bit too much, put a little bit too much on, or you just didn't rub it in enough. It actually will rub in quite well, that it can be used on Fitzpatrick's 1 through Fitzpatrick 5. Now, this is gonna take a little bit extra to rub in only because the skin is so incredibly hydrated using all the other serums right now. So less is more, but I would rather my client at the end of my facial, especially if I've done a peel and some modalities and we're working with hyperpigmentation, I would rather them go out with a little bit more sunscreen than less, especially if it's daytime. Now, if it was nighttime, I would not have to add sunscreen, but during the day, I'm always gonna add a mineral sunscreen. If you have a client that is dealing with any kind of redness, or they feel uncomfortable with a little bit of just some of the blotchiness in their skin, some of the hyperpigmentation, maybe some post-acne scarring, you can use the, for people who are Fitzpatrick 1 through 3, you could use the HOP Sun Cushion, which will basically be applying a light tint, like a light BB cream or a light concealer to the skin. So as you can see, this does blend in quite nicely. So it's not gonna leave a white cast on the skin. Occasionally you'll notice a little bit of pilling when you add the sunscreen if you have a lot of product on. So simply what I do at the end is I take a little bit of a gauze and I just kind of gently just remove a little bit of that pilling. So it comes off. So you can work on pressing, just use a little bit less of the sunscreen then, but because it leaves a little bit of a hue, a white hue, if you don't rub it in well enough, I just tend to massage it in a little bit extra, and then just any little residual, I just tend to use a little bit of a gauze and rub some of that off gently. And again, the clients usually are not going out and doing anything after one of these treatments, so we're usually in good shape. If they do have a little bit there, you just let them know that it's not the skin peeling, that it's just a little bit of the sunscreen. So this is our final product. This is the end of our vitamin C skin brightening facial, where the skin is very dewy, very glowy, and should be lighter and brighter. And when you show the client their after picture, you will also see a lifting and a plumping of the skin as well.